For observation for thigh and hip, now we've moved up into the hip and pelvis area, and again we're looking for any obvious signs of deformity, swelling, bruising. When we're looking at pelvis levels, we want them to be equal. One side of the pelvis is not higher than the other. We're going to do our squat assessments again, so weight bearing equally through each leg, squatting down as low as they can, make sure they're weight bearing equally through each side and not all the weight on one side of the way down and weight on the same side on the way back up to spare the injured side. And with our gait analysis, now we're looking at the hip. Again, we're looking for any obvious limp if it's painful for them to put weights on the injured side. But another thing that we'll check for, and this is more with weakness of our hip abductors, so the muscles that we use to lift the leg out to the side, every step that we take, we're in single leg stance for a period of time. So that's walking and running. And it's our hip abductors that have to contract to keep us upright, so we're not tipping over sideways. And weakness in our hip abductors can contribute to that sideways tip or even the femur collapsing into internal rotation, which will affect patellar tracking and even iliotibial bands on the lateral side. So if somebody has pain and symptoms that come on a half hour, an hour into their activity, we're going to have to get them go exercise and then come back when the discomfort comes on, and then we're going to assess them. And what we might see is what's called a Trendelenburg gait, where when they weight bear on that one side and those hip abductors give out, it allows the hip to shift outwards or the femur to collapse inwards. So that's something else that you're going to look for your gait analysis when we get to the hip pelvis lab.